from this computer.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. All right, well, welcome. It's very nice to see you two ladies. And we're gonna jump right in. This new moon, lots of power behind it. There are 6 planets in retrograde. It's some crazy energy. Uh-oh, my computer's locked up. My other computer. I've got my iPad with some notes on it as well, and it's kind of freaking out over here. Okay, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, all in retrograde. I don't know the meaning of all of that. I do know Mercury retrograde is Mercury is the planet of communication, and retrograde literally means a step backward. And so when we think about that, I mean, because it's the planet of communication and this backwardsness, often people think like technical issues, Therese, as you were saying. Lots of things can go awry in communications. Lots of things can be misunderstood or misconstrued. And so we'll talk about that in relation to this new moon in Libra a little bit later. And just to think about the positive side of it and to take a different look at it is to really take that step back and to really kind of assess and look at the bigger picture. And so that's another way to look at this Mercury retrograde. So we're going to jump in. I'm going to share my screen here in a moment. Like I said, I am doing this from a different computer. And so when I am on this computer, I think Teams. And so I just need to figure out how oh, here we go. I don't know why. Here we go. All right, so we're going to share this deck. We're going to just kind of get started for the new moon in Libra. Okay. All right, so as we move into this session, just kind of take a few breaths. I know each of you is probably doing some different things. My hotel room, I was just kind of bopping around, getting some stuff ready to go to sleep later and trying to coordinate because I'm not here in this city that long. I got here on Friday and I leave on Tuesday. And so, I was kind of bouncing around a little bit. So let's just maybe put our feet on the flat on the floor if we can, or if you're sitting in a cross-legged position, if you're on a bed or on the floor, just close your eyes a moment and take a deep breath. And let's become present where we're at. Let's become present in this moment with each other. Let the shoulders drop and just settle into this moment and become present and really release any focus on the future of, oh, what I still have to get done tonight, or any focus on what I did or didn't get done during the day. Let's just settle into this present moment and into this community, those that are on the call and those that'll be viewing it later, because we do have lots of people who, I know someone who works 7 nights a week, and so she's never able to join, and a few other people who I know will be watching the recording later. So let's just settle into that sense of community, that sense of lifting each other up, of being there for each other, of sharing support and sharing intentions and sharing that which we hope for, that which we intend. And, you know, it'll be a pretty similar journey. We will have, Mila has volunteered to share a card for this new moon. So we'll be doing that at, probably do that just before we craft our intentions. And I think that we, you know, we'll do a little connection. We'll ground first. We'll do a little connecting, maybe have just a little conversation before we actually get into some of the other parts of the session. And then we'll talk about some of the energy of this new moon and some of the things to think about as we're crafting our intentions. And then a little bit of something I heard actually on a Netflix video I want to share with you when we get to crafting or activating our intentions. So really want to just create this space for us to slow down, for us to connect with really what we long to create, instead of being in the space of doing and doing and doing and getting things done and doing, which is great sometimes. When we're in that space all the time, it just creates a habit that disconnects us from ourselves, that disconnects us from our soul, that disconnects us from each other. And so this ritual space is really to be able to open your own beingness, your own heart, your own spirit, to be able to really shine and be able to open up and say, here's what I'd really like to have happen these next 28-ish days. And to create that shift to living in alignment with your energetic blueprint. You know, this is something that I work on with my clients, is kind of peeling back the layers of habit, peeling back the layers of those adaptive behaviors to be able to see and connect with and tune into our soul's longing. You know, there's all the practicality of, you know, getting stuff done. And at the end of the day, that can be satisfying in and of itself for the, you know, most of the time. And after a while, it can get to be draining, and it can get to be, get us in a place of exhaustion and just disheartened, because we're not really living, you know, the whole purpose our soul came here on this earth to be and do. So together, I just want us to kind of commit to be here now, to really keep coming back to this present moment for the next, you know, 85 minutes or so, or actually about 75 minutes, and to really, you know, participate how works for you. You know, not, you know, if you're just in a space where you just want to be with your own heart and your own longing, that's fine. But also stretch yourself, whether that's in, you know, the intentions you set or how you release things as we get into that portion of the call, you know, whatever it is. So, and then just support each other for those on the call and those who are actually going to be viewing this later. All right, when we create our intentions, meditation, as Thich Nhat Hanh called it, is deep looking and deep acting. And so we really want to take a moment to look deep. And so before we get into actually creating our intentions, we're going to do a bit of deep looking. And so what I'd like you to do is, sorry, I just want to make sure I'm on the right spot here. Yeah. So I want you to just close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in, really feel, you know, first of all, drop your shoulders, you know, just let them hang. Kind of pull the chin a little back so that your head is, I know I tend to kind of push my chin forward, my neck forward. Just let it, see if you can bring it back so that your head is equally between your shoulders. And then let your shoulders just drop back and down. And if you can think of it, shine your chest up a little bit, like someone is, you're your heart is shining out into the universe. And let's just focus on that point for right now. Focus on the heart. And breathe into your heart space. And feel the expansion there. Feel the connection. Keep taking deep breaths in and sense the heart of the space around your heart. And just feel the connection to yourself right now. Continue to take deep breaths in and out through the nose. And really focus on your heart space and see if there's anything. And if you want to, you can put your hand on your heart to deepen that connection and feel the energy between your palm and your heart. That kind, loving touch to your heart. And what message does your heart have for you for this moment, for this new moon, for this next new moon cycle? Take one or two more deep breaths. And thank your heart for the love that it gives to you, the love that comes from all the inner parts of you, your inner child, your inner adolescent, your inner nurturing parent, for all the love that it is shared and connected with those in your life. Okay, we'll come back. Ooh, there's someone in the waiting room. All right. So hopefully we're all just a little more present, a little more grounded. Oh, and I didn't change this. When I updated this whole deck, I forgot about this. I skipped over this one somehow, some way. So why don't we go, if people are open to it, we've got two people more connecting. Just say your name, where you're at in the world, and how about what you what you are looking forward to this fall, or what you love most about fall, since we're coming really into the fall season, the heart of the fall season. I think we had quite a bit of a summerish September for those of us in the Midwest. So anyone? Can you guys hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. This is go. I can go first.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Therese. Sorry, I thought maybe my AirPods had died.
No worries. And I just took myself off video while I kind of closed my eyes and things. I'm Therese Nielsen. I am in Milwaukee. And as always, I guess in terms of fall, I always just like the outdoors and kind of just connecting with nature and having that kind of cool breeze, walking through the woods, etc. So I just like to do a lot of hiking. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
What has been your favorite place to hike?
I guess, well, locally, it probably still is Lapham Peak, but yeah, it's a little bit farther of a drive, but
yeah. What about your favorite place ever? Like the best hike ever?
That would be Sedona. I probably would say that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Would anyone else like to share? I'm not sure who X-Teen is, or we've still got somebody trying to connect on their iPhone.
I'm sorry, it's Christine.
Can you?
Oh, hi, Christine.
Hi, the person who set up my computer has a great sense of humor. My apologies.
No, that's totally fine. Totally fine. Mila, you were gonna introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Oh, and what was your question for us?
So your name, where you're at in the world, and then just what do you look forward to, or what do you love most about the fall season?
I'm in Milwaukee, and I have I'm actually in the middle of selling my house, so it's quite stressful, but I look forward to the smell of the fall. So everything having to do with just and beyond the pumpkin spice, but it's just the nature, just, as she mentioned, walking in the smell of the leaves and just the smells.
Nice. Christine, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble connecting to the video, but I'm in Milwaukee also, and I love fall. I love this month, and I always say if we could just get rid of that icky back to school feeling, we would all enjoy it a lot more. But whether we start school or not, right? We still have that, oh my goodness, that feeling in the pit of your stomach that something is about to start, and you're not looking forward to it, even if you are. But I agree. I love the smell. I love the colors, the weather. It's just so nice. Typically, it starts to get really nice in September, especially around here. And it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it is gorgeous. So I am normally in the Milwaukee area, as most of you know, but tonight I am in Montreal, very French speaking. It is interesting. Not the first time, I've been in Spain, I've been in Ireland. So I've been around, in countries where and in Mexico many times. And it's the first time I've been really in a native French speaking place. So it's been interesting. It's been interesting to be, walking down the street and not understand a single word anybody says. Or, if we were standing in line the other day waiting for food. And so just listening to people having conversations in French, that's, it's a beautiful language. And I love, I love the trees. I actually love the transition. I love the colors, and I love taking pictures of the trees. And I love that transition from fall to winter. because I just love trees without their leaves, and I love trees with the colored leaves. I went hiking and there was only just a few, even, you know, Toronto, I was in Toronto and then Montreal, and both places, there's only a few trees that have transitioned so far. So, and I think we still have someone else trying to connect. It says still connecting to audio. So I hope they're able to connect soon. All right, so we will keep moving. This is more about me. You guys know me, but or some of you may not know all. You know, I grew up in the corporate world. I've been doing kind of this yoga and spiritual and transformational work since I was a teenager, and I love helping women navigate transformation. And so my energetic blueprint that I use in my coaching is real fun to work with, and it can be really challenging. And I like sharing bits and pieces of this work on these this new moon cycle. So the first part of the new moon, and this is really, you know, with the energy of the Libra, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but even with all of these planets in retrograde, we want to really take a step back and reflect a little bit on what has this past month been like, and what were, if we were on the call, or if we set intentions last month, you know, what were those intentions, and did we achieve them? Did we not? You know, and what are we excited to celebrate? What are we maybe that didn't go so well, and we want to think about something we want to release and let go of, or what learning we might have. So what are you celebrating? What maybe didn't go as planned? What do you need to release? And what do you want to do different coming up in this next new moon cycle? So we'll take a few minutes. I'm going to put a little bit of music on here. Hopefully it doesn't start up right away because I didn't cue this up yet, but we'll take about 5 minutes here, 5-6 minutes. Whoops. And we'll just do some journaling, take a few notes on what you want to release and what you want to celebrate. Take just another moment and wrap up what you've been writing. Okay. So if anybody would like to share, you don't need to share like everything you wrote necessarily, but just maybe, what was something you noticed about your reflection? What was something that popped out, or that you really, was able to really look at from a point of celebration or a point of relief? And I'm actually I'll share first just to kick things off. Is I noticed that a lot of what I wrote about with releasing was things I was avoiding. Where I'm not getting all the things accomplished that I want to. And I'm noticing that what I noticed was a lot of what I wrote was about things that I'm avoiding doing, and doing some deep personal work, some emotional work of my own. So I noticed that I have the word avoiding on my notes here a lot more than I would have expected. So something for me to spend some time with. Anybody else want to share?
This is Therese. That one was really interesting. Part of me was like trying to set some goals more to just to have moments with family and whatnot. And the oracle card that we pulled was Let Love Live. And as I did really kind of sit back and think, I'm like, I didn't maybe work so hard at it, or I didn't probably focus on it very well, but it kind of happened naturally. And I'd probably say we've had a lot of things that we celebrated as a family over the course of the last several weeks. So we just really had a lot of great together time. So
That's awesome.
it was with my immediate family, but with some extended family and my mother and things like that. I mean, I won't go into a ton of detail, but I just feel like there's been a lot of really good connections there over the last month. So.
And sometimes we don't necessarily need to have it in front of us and realize it, but sometimes when we create that intention and really put it down on paper, it's being imprinted on our subconscious. And so we put that out in the universe, and the universe says, oh, this is what you want. Okay, I will conspire to get that for you. And so I think that's awesome that you didn't have to put a lot of effort into it, and it came through, it came about naturally. So that's cool.
Exactly.
That's cool. Anyone else want to share? And Mila, it's totally okay if your son's a little rambunctious in the background. Not a big deal. Okay. All right. Well, we will then move on to our next.
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm having problems, technical troubles too. Can I share just one thing that came up, because you mentioned release, and immediately it actually became another re-word, which is a perfect word. Those are perfect words for the retrogrades. Receive is something I'm learning to do more of versus rejecting or simply expecting that something's going to fail. So when you said that, it also really tied in that there's so many synchronicities happening. And it's been happening, actually. I just love it. At work, we're going through a training, and I noticed that the steps that they were using, I could really integrate into my life. And one of the parts that I really am in sync with is the idea of an intention. They call it their vision, or a vision for the person or the family. And it starts with I deserve. And that's exactly how I am starting to think of what I want to see manifest. I deserve to have a stable home with loving family that accept me and receive me with mutual respect. So there's a lot of grieving and a lot of anger that I'm over it in a way. I really want to be over it. Yet I couldn't help when you did when we did the exercise, that emotions were still coming up. So something to work on. Thank you.
And Mila, it's, when emotions come up and we think we've processed them, oftentimes there's just layers of them. And so I'm glad that you've said that you're just allowing them and accepting them and letting them be, because they're just a symbol, not a symbol, but our emotions are our GPS. They are a signal to us, not a symbol, a signal to something inside of us that is still in need of healing. And sometimes it is the It could be our inner child that needs some nurturing parent energy, or maybe it's our inner adolescent who is just rebelling and angry and needs to vent. And we just need to kind of allow that and then look at where we can heal, you know, because if we try to move on, if you think about, you know, sitting next to a child who's crying on the curb, if let's say your son is on the child, you know, when he was a child, I don't know how old he is now, but he's a child crying on the curb, you know, do we try to rush them through those emotions? We'd let them have, generally, you know, a real nurturing, a nurturing parent would allow that child to cry, allow that child, and we wouldn't be like, oh, stop that, you know, you've had your cry, it's been a few minutes, you know, or however long, that's enough, you know, and letting it move totally through our body. I think sometimes it's that we are having the emotion. Sometimes what can happen is we are having the emotion, we are experiencing it, and we're holding on so tight. So we might be very angry and we're constricting around the emotion and we're holding it in our bodies versus letting it flow through. Just letting it really, like noticing where it is in the body and letting it fully move through. That actually just kind of came to me as I was sharing that. So I think it's something to think about as these emotions continue to come up. And often it's another layer of healing, another layer of, you know, forgiving yourself, recognizing, you know, where each person had their part, including ourselves, and how can we heal? You know, where do we need to heal? Where is there another level of healing? Where is there another level of forgiveness? Where is there another level of learning and growing and changing? So thank you, Mila, for sharing. Okay, anyone else?
I was not with you guys when you were planning last cycle. But,
okay, no, that's totally fine.
It's a good exercise though, because it was making me realize that I wasn't planful enough. And I had the realization this week, an epiphany, that I'm letting work consume me. So my intention for the next cycle is to break that cycle and determine how to do that. So I think, as you said, Mila, I deserve more. And my life deserves more of me than working too many hours. So
I had a bit of that these last couple of weeks myself, Christine. I know the feeling. I generally I've got one main client, one big client that I work with, and then I've got some coaching clients. And my one client has consumed my time these last couple of weeks. I know how that feels. And I want to offer a shift or another way to look at it in addition to the I deserve is, because I think that oftentimes, especially as women, we don't allow ourselves this part of it, and it is I desire. So think about that and see what it is, because I think it's like that. What do I want? What do I desire? Because that gets us into a very soul level to really understand, what does our soul want? What did our soul come here for? What are we really here for? And how can we bring that into all aspects of our life? What do I desire? What do I really desire? What do I really and want? I think it gets a bad rap, you know, because we sometimes look at, oh, you know, want, and it, you know, people can look at it as greedy, or, you know, the child wanting. And I think it's still okay. I think wanting is an okay thing. It's, you know, so just an offer of another way to look at that, of what do I, not just what I deserve, but what do I desire? So something to think about. All right. So
how do you express that to your, I was just going to say, my challenge, I think, is going to be expressing that, having people who are accustomed, and your client probably is too, to you doing too much.
Yeah.
Or what they ask for.
Yeah, that's a great point, Christine. And, you know, maybe one of these times we can have that conversation, or if you want to have the conversation offline of how do you create those boundaries? How do you start to take a little step back here and a little step back there and start to create the boundaries of, I've been overgiving, and now, and sometimes it's easier than you think. Sometimes it isn't, and sometimes it can be easier than we think. I think we put our head around, we have the thought, which is just a sentence in our head that I can't, or this is what they'll do, or this is what they'll think, or this is what will happen. And it's just us,
right,
you know, projecting, you know, and deciding ahead of time. So yeah, it's something to think about. Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's jump into this new moon. This is a new moon in Libra. And so this new moon in Libra has some interesting energy. And so first of all, like I said, this we talked about like these 6 planets in retrograde: Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Like I said, I don't know all of these energies super well. I know Saturn is a very strong and powerful energy. So it invites us to take a step back. All of these planets in retrograde really, you know, give us the opportunity to take a step back, and not necessarily go backwards, but to like even what Christine was just saying in terms of that, okay, I want to take a new look at this. I want to look at how I've been living, and is it serving me? You know, that deserve, often you could, another way to look at it is that, you know, the way I have been behaving is a disservice to me. So another way to look at it. But the new moon, this new moon, Libra is an air sign, kind of hot and wet qualities. I won't even take you where my mind just went with that, but it really, new moon in Libra has the energies of balance. So, you know, that we've got the symbol of the scale, so that balanced perspective, and beauty and harmony and generosity. So oftentimes, the new moon, we plant the seeds of intention. And this new moon in Libra, the new moon in Libra, each new moon, it's actually a cycle of 6 months. You know, we look at new moon to new moon and to new moon, but you also want to look at it from this new moon to the full moon in the same sign. So the full moon in Libra will be 6 months from now. And so the new moon, this new moon energy has, you know, time to actually, you know, come to bring things into fruition. And this, the Libra is, hang on a second, I gotta look at my notes here. It's got some beautiful energy of this air quality, and kind of this subtle, like coming in like the wind and allowing things to shift in a gentle, kind of subtle way. And that Libra energy is diplomatic and somewhat of a debater, because, you know, at their worst, they can be melodramatic and manipulative and a little spoiled, and at their best, they really bring out the best in others. They bring about that harmony. They're generous, and they have, you know, they like to generate ideas and be idealistic, and they help us recognize and appreciate and project our own inner beauty, as well as see it out in the world. So, you know, this fall time is the perfect time with, you know, we all talked about the beauty, whether it's the sensual beauty, as, you know, and she didn't really say it that way, but the scent of fall, or the you know, what we see when we're hiking, or when we're out in in nature and taking that in. So just a little bit about the energy of Libra. I know, Mila, you have some astrology in your background. Is there anything else you want to share about this new moon in Libra? And then if you'd like to do your card, Mila was going to pull a card for us. And if you can, let's keep this within 10 minutes, because I want to make sure we've had some conversation. I want to make sure we get into the rest of it before our time is up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so maybe I should start with the card that I pulled, because let me see. I made myself comfy, so I'm just different.
All right, hang on here. I'm gonna spotlight you.
So what's interesting, what's funny? So, oh, this is not the best lighting, but that's okay. I actually, this is funny because I was in a different Zoom with a different group earlier today, and I actually pulled this card, but in reverse. And I just can't believe it actually came out again. So this is the card that came out, and it is the full moon in Capricorn, which is a beautiful saying that the end of a tough cycle is approaching or approaches. So Capricorn being the earth sign, full moon is 6 months from now, but it's this basic mention. I think most of you were saying that work has really been heavy and a bit of a burden, and actually Mercury is in Mars is in Gemini, so that doesn't surprise me that Gemini is the day-to-day work, and many times in the third house, and it does speak to the fact that there's a lot of activity, and it can be a little internally. We are internalizing a bit of that Mars energy in our day-to-day work, and also it speaks to other areas of life. But in this case, there's hope. And what's wonderful is that at the end, this just popped out. This just popped out. And this card is luck is on your side. New moon in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius happens to be sextiling. It's 60 degrees away from Libra. So when a good astrologer I listen to says that when the planets are sextiling, it's good for everybody. So something to consider is, how are you viewing this time of reflection, of renovation, and the intention I wanted to say that you were talking about earlier of talking about work and how much time we put into it, what we get out of it. It's really a Venusian element. It's the worth, it's our value. That's all Venus stuff. And Libra is ruled by Venus. So this is the perfect time to speak on that in your mind, in your heart, and in your spirit. And because this is the important part and I'll wrap up with that. Notice that in October, many of the planets are going to start going direct. So you're going to feel it, and you're going to start feeling that energy move forward, and you'll move forward. And to be honest, there's a very important one coming up on November 8th, which happens to be Election Day. So just hold on to your hats and and understand that what you think really does matter. How you think and how you present that in whatever you do to begin, as what you were saying, Dottie, how you heal makes a huge difference. So Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mila. That was wonderful. Hang on 1 second. All right. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen here. And any questions or anything about new moon in Libra before we move off of this? All right. So next, what we're going to do is we're actually going to craft our new moon intentions. And I'm just going to go through these next couple of slides quickly. Really what we want to think about is, given what is possible. I love this quote that one of my coaches always gave me is, given what is possible, because we can easily fall victim to victim mentality or victim consciousness of, well, I can't do this because, I can't do that because, I can't, but given what is possible. So that's what I want you to go into your crafting your intentions with. And so we're going to write intentions over the next about 10 minutes or so. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes. And I want you to both write your intentions, and then, 3 to 8 is probably a good number. Some people go as many as 10. And you want to write them either present tense or as if they've already occurred. So and really try to note in your intentions what emotion you'll feel when they are accomplished. Tying that emotion really creates a full body connection to that intention. So you could have some high level intentions. This moon cycle, I call in abundance or compassion. I will spend more time with myself. It is good to get more specific if you can. And some people really enjoy that, I'm guided to start a new art project or whatever it is, or really work out my creative muscle every week. Or you could get more specific. I'm so excited. It's October 25th and I've created a new healthy eating routine. Or it's October 25th, which is when the next new moon is, and I'm basking in the joy of a new project role that just really fulfills me. Or, whatever it is, maybe Christine around, I've set boundaries and I've pulled back, 5 hours a week or 10 hours, whatever it is, that you want to pull back some of the hours that you're putting into your job. And then as you've written, spend a few minutes writing the intentions and then create a mandala. And all this, it wouldn't be necessarily this detailed in the amount of time we have, but just something visual. Try to use, if you have some colored pencils or colored pens, something visual that is hand-drawn. And I really invite you to handwrite your intentions. There is so much strength and so much power and so much more connection when you have that brain to hand connection in handwriting your intentions, and then drawing something that actually connects to those intentions. And it can be one image per intention, or if you want to create one overall image, that's generally what I tend to do, is kind of create just whatever moves me. I just allow the pen to, and sometimes it's kind of a messy scribble and it ends up to be something, and sometimes it doesn't. But I just let my body move my hand in a way, and let myself, let it come through me. So I'm going to put a little bit of music on again, and then I'll put 10 minutes on the clock here. Take about another 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. Ah. Okay. That may not have been enough time, and I totally get it. Sometimes it takes a little bit to kind of get our brains going, and feel free to add to or to, modify and update or add more things in. Oh, Therese had to go. It was nice to have her. Nice to have you here, Therese. Okay, so is there anything anyone would like to share about the process of writing their intentions, or just one thing that you want to put out into the community to get support on this next cycle that you're intending around? And if not, that's okay. I wanted to share something that kind of aligned to what Mila shared about the card she pulled, and that things are going to be moving forward. That October is a time when many planets are going direct, and that things will be moving forward. What came to me, and I didn't even make the direct connection while I was putting my mandala together, and it's still very raw and very, and I'm not going to show the drawing because it looks silly, but it is my drawing. But what I really envisioned was the seed of the bamboo tree, and how it takes, I don't remember how many years to come through the surface. I don't know how deep they're planted, and it takes years and years and years, like I think it's at least 6 years for that seed to come through the surface. And then it grows so tall, I don't remember how many feet, but many feet in just a year. And so it really made me think of my, what I'm doing right now with my business and with the work that I'm doing, and how there's so much happening underneath the surface. And I'm hoping that I see that happen. And I'm really wanting to be patient with myself and to allow that time for that seed to really do what it needs to below the surface. So that was the one thing that kind of came to me as I was drawing my mandala.
That's beautiful. Can I just interject that, the luck card that I drew, it's in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is about expansion and it's about luck. And right now it's in Aries. So you're seeing all the work. It's in Aries is go, 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 go. Sometimes you don't even see what's happening. So yeah, you're going to definitely see it soon.
I hope so. Thank you. Anyone else want to share anything about their intention setting or their, and it doesn't have to be what your intentions are, but maybe just about the process or something you realized in writing them.
I would just share that it was, I really heard what you said about putting pen to paper, because I'm so used to typing that I never put pen to paper. I think, is there a more efficient way to do it? But actually writing this out, old school journaling, is just so helpful sometimes. And that might sound ridiculous because maybe you ladies do it all the time, but I've really gotten away from that and just saying it and being very intentional about this. And, you know, instead of saying get organized, which is just so general, it's more like, in the future, I will have focused on and completed items on my personal to-do list. So,
yeah, and it can, you know, just giving yourself some grace too. I think it's, and it is getting back to that writing pen to paper and that brain connection that happens can be so freeing. You know, there's ways to use that process to release clutter from your mind. You know, I don't know if you've ever heard of the book called The Artist's Way, but there's a process called the morning pages, where you just write 3 pages of whatever, like, stream of consciousness. And it really helps to just free your brain up for more creative and more focused work, you know, and it just allows for so much more creativity and so much more connection. So awesome. Thanks for sharing, Christine. Well, we've only got a few more minutes left. And one of the other things that I did want to share before we go is that as we look at activating, you know, there's many ways to that we can activate. Thich Nhat Hanh, I really appreciate it. My brother, I think it was, or I don't remember who it was, shared a video with me. No, I think I got it from Sounds True. They had, I don't remember. No, I think it was my brother who sent it to me. No, I got it from Sounds True. I sent it to my brother. Doesn't matter. Anyway, when he first died, there was like a day where you could listen to one of his recordings for free. And he mentioned how meditation is deep looking and deep acting. And so to take this time to really reflect and to really look inside and to really connect on a regular basis. And, you know, we do these new moon gatherings every single month, every new moon. And really, you know, I have a Facebook page. We haven't really used it for this much, but just really also wanting to encourage you to activate those intentions and to really think about how acting on your intentions is also meditation. It is also deep, you know, deep meditation. And, you know, I think this is attributed to a lot of different people, but having a vision for what you want isn't enough. So, you know, Mila, you talked about having a vision for family, having a vision for yourself. Having the vision isn't enough, because without execution, it is just a hallucination. And so really looking at and thinking about, how can I activate my intentions? How can I bring them to fruition? And I have a few ways. Oh, this isn't, I think I skipped a slide. Hang on a second. Oh, it stopped screen sharing because I closed the PowerPoint. Hang on one second. I want to make sure that this slide. Oh, I know. I kind of did that. I hid that slide, and I kind of did it on purpose, but I don't really want to. Let me bring it back here. because I do want to share a couple thoughts around activation. So I'm going to reshare my screen here. Here we go. Hopefully now you can see my screen. So we really want to get beyond this hallucination, this, a dream, and really bring it into reality. And so what can you do to make your intentions visible, to make sure you see them? Because it is easy to kind of forget about them and to let them slide as we get back into the busyness and chaos of the week and of the month. So how can you make them visible? Maybe, make a copy of them and put them on your mirror in your bathroom, and keep them, if you're working at a workplace or at home, put them on your desk, and maybe put them right in front of your keyboard so that you read them every day before you actually come into, your working. Or maybe you have them, as your part of your morning routine, you read them, and reading them out loud can be very powerful. Connect them to a sacred object. If you have a crystal or a candle or something that you really love, maybe setting it next to that, or setting that sacred object on top of it when you're not reading it and you're not using it. And here again, I forgot to look at I forgot to change the full moon date, but the next full moon will be I think it is the harvest moon. So October 9th is it really? This can't be right. 2022? No, September was the harvest moon. I always thought generally that October was the harvest moon, but the September full moon. The next full moon will occur on October 9th. Is that right? Does that sound right, you guys? Why does that sound like it's too
This
soon?
is a new moon, so it's a full moon.
Yeah, no, I know, but it just feels like it's, oh, you know what? I'm thinking it's the following week. I'm thinking like I'm a week ahead already, because I have to travel back to Montreal next week. And I'm already in the week of the 3rd. I'm like, how can it be next weekend? So it is 2 weeks. It is 2 weeks. So Sunday the 9th will be the full moon. So sometimes by if you've heard, you can put crystals out in the full moon to activate your crystals and to energize your crystals. So you could put your intentions with your crystals out into the full moon to help also get some energy from that full moon. And also working with an accountability partner. I love this little picture of these 2 little women. I took this picture of them in Ireland, and I just love this. These, granted, they're probably just kibitzing, but how can we use an accountability partner to help us to keep on the path of our intentions? So those are just some ideas. You may have others, but if you find yourself, you're also looking to activate things and you're finding that you can't do it on your own, this is work that I do. Give me an email, send me an email, or give me a call, and we can set up a time to talk to see if one-on-one coaching might be helpful for you. And then you'll be on our email list already, so you'll get some support throughout the whole new moon. And if you need any other support, feel free to reach out to me, whether on email or Instagram, or however you want to reach out. I'm happy to help if you've got, need some ideas to brainstorm around how to support in your activation. And just also even think about reaching out energetically to the group, in terms of how they can you just even reach out to people energetically and ask for help, because it's always there. So anything anybody would like to share before we close out?
Yes, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone.
Nice to have you, Christine. Mila, thank you so much for the cards. If you want to send me a photo of each card separately, and I'll put them into a little PDF file. And if you have any notes, just maybe type them up in the email. And I'll create a little PDF file of that to send out with a follow-up email with the recording for people who couldn't join. And thanks so much, everyone. And have a wonderful rest of your evening and a great week.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your trip. You're one of so many people I know who are in Montreal right now. It must be
Oh,
a
really?
popular time.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, what a coincidence. Yeah. Just here till Tuesday, but then I'm back on Sunday for a week. So, and then I'll be back and forth. I'll be back and forth here for a little bit through November. So, but thank you. All right. Take care.
Thanks all.
Bye-bye.